We love to celebrate history on the show, and the kids are doing that today at the Exploration Place, so we thought we'd come take it in. The Prince George Regional Heritage Fair back for another year. We got Crystal here to talk a little bit about it. Thanks so much for making the time to chat, and congratulations on another year of this.
Yeah, Heritage Fair is a really exciting day. I look forward to it every year, and we're just glad it's the day. Today is the day.
Today is the big day. It's been going on for a long time, as I understand. Many kids, probably people watching this, will be like, I did that back in the day.
I was just chatting with someone who's like, oh yeah, I did it when I was a kid, and I love hearing about students. I mean, to be fair, this is a national program. The Heritage Fair program is a national program. I could have gone, but my school didn't do it.
Oh,
so I guess I missed out.
Now you're giving back in a different way.
Yeah. So there's lots of people in the community that are working here or working wherever that have been part of the Heritage Fair over the years. It's wonderful to see alumni, and it's to see a new crop of kids every year doing projects on topics that interest them.
Yeah, I was going to say, so how does it work here? What grades and how do they choose what their topics are?
So it's open to students grades 4 to 10. They have to do a project on Canadian heritage. So it can be anything that they're interested in that they can relate to Canadian heritage.
Okay.
So, if you want to do dinosaurs, you can, but it should be focused on dinosaurs found on Canadian soil.
Right.
If you want to do Justin Bieber, you can, but you should try to relate it to, his Canadian influences or the impact he's had on Canadian music or something like that, right? You need to tell us how. If you want to pick whatever you want, you can, but you have to tell us how it relates to Canadian heritage.
So
we've seen so many great projects over the years. We've had projects on like the Avro Arrow, lots on fur trapping. Mr. PG is a popular one these days. A lot of family history projects, which is a really great entry point, especially for grade 4 students and younger students. We just had so many interesting topics. We just love chatting with kids about what they learn and what they've discovered.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So do you have a guess at how many kids are participating this year?
So this year we have 29 projects and 30 students, so there's one pair. You can come in pairs. Pairs are not eligible to go to the provincial fair. This year it's not really an issue. Unfortunately, the provincial fair is not happening this year because of funding reasons, but we look forward to having it again next year. And other than that, there's you can have pairs, you can have groups. One time someone brought a horse.
Wow. Okay, inside here? No, I'm kidding.
No,
probably
it was,
outside.
we're hosting it at Blackburn, and so we put them by the doors, and the horse was outside of the emergency
greeting
door.
people. Okay, so I noticed a lot of judges walk around here with rubrics.
Yeah.
Now, what are the judges looking for here to grade, or how do you do this?
So judges are here. They're community volunteers. They are essentially interviewing students and marking essentially what level of achievement they've reached with regard to the questions they're asking, the research they've done, their bibliographies, how confident and articulate they are when they're actually speaking with the judges. So there's 5 or 6 different categories that they essentially judge. We go through them all in the afternoon, and everyone goes home with a medal, depending on how they have reached their achievement. And then they also are eligible for many local awards. So Hubble Homestead, Exploration Place, the library, many other groups in the city do sponsor awards, whether those are gift baskets or cash prizes. So kids can go home with a fair bit of money.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a couple $100 prizes here this evening, and so there's a lot of opportunity for recognition, and everyone goes home with a goodie bag, and it's just a really fun day. They get to miss school, rotate through these fun activities, have an afternoon at the museum, and then get recognized at the end of the day. What's not to love?
What is not to love? That is a great thing. Crystal, I like to ask the why, and I guess there's probably a pretty cool why for you of why you love doing this. I mean, you're involved in Hubble Homestead and local history, heritage. But why do you love this so much?
I really love the Heritage Fair. It's a really fun day, even for me. I'm not administering things, and I'm having a good time. I really love seeing how kids connect to heritage, their own heritage, their country's heritage, and how during the work of the project, how they connect to others in their community. So some of these students have reached out to their grandparents or to community members to do oral histories. They're going to archives, they're going to libraries. They're just like really being a full part of the community in every sense, I'd say. And I just think it's wonderful to see how students make those connections and the impact it has on them, not only today, but like throughout their life. There's so many young students that I have met over the years that are adults now, and they still, like, they didn't go into heritage, but they're still interested in history, and it's just a spark, and I think it's wonderful.
I think it's wonderful too. I love seeing it. Personally, I mean, I think there's a few future journalists in the room, maybe. If there's jobs for them, we'll see. But anyways, we'll see what the kids have in store for us today. Give me your elevator pitch. Tell me a little bit about your project here.
Well, I did my distant relative, John Baptiste here to St. Jean. He was a very important person to Canada. He was a fur trader, a translator, a soldier, and a merchant.
Wow.
He was one of the first merchants in York, Toronto.
What's the coolest thing you learned about your distant relative? What do you say?
Probably about like the fur trade, because honestly, I didn't know much about that until I did this project.
Did one of your family members say, hey, we got a pretty famous relative, you should do some research, or how does this come about?
Well, I first wanted to do fur trading.
Yeah.
Then my dad said like, oh, well, we had like a fur trader in the family. So I started researching about him, and I said I could do an entire project about him, so I just did it.
I see you got World War I here on the poster, Bruin. Tell me a little bit about what your heritage project is.
Well, it's about my family in World War I and how my uncle was a tunneler and...
A tunneler?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay, how'd you find this out? Does someone in your family say, hey, we got a little bit of history here? Or?
Yes, my grandma did. She had a paper full of information about him, so I wrote about him.
Okay, so give me your little elevator pitch here. Pretend I'm a judge.
Well, pretty much what happened to him was he was the fourth tunneler in the family. He has 11 brothers, and what happened was he had an injury at Vimy Ridge when a tunnel collapsed on him.
Wow, that is crazy. Tell me a little bit about your heritage project here today.
This is my great-great-grandfather, and he went to the Boer War, and he got sick, so he got shipped back to Halifax, and he spent 2 months in the hospital, and then he went back to southern Alberta, where he started a ranch with his brother with script land that he got from the Boer War. And then at his mother's post office, he met his future wife, Ethel.
Yeah.
And she lived in England, and she was an accompaniment to the Mrs. Perrins. And she was gonna take the Titanic to see her sister, but for some reason she didn't go on it.
Good thing, I guess, hey? Yeah. And you got some cool old pictures here.
Yeah.
Now, what inspired you to look into the history of Beaverly?
The Indigenous worker at my school told me about Beaverly Elementary, and I wanted to learn more about my school and meaning behind it.
Oh, that is pretty cool. It's crazy, you think like a school like Beaverly hasn't been around that long, but you go back in the records, it's been around a long time. Yeah. What's some of the coolest facts you found out? I mean, the community connections piece is very cool, but what are you kind of most proud of, or something you didn't expect to find?
This school.
The original school.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about this here. What am I looking at?
This is the Canada's immigration process.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about your poster here and why you chose this topic.
I chose this topic because I wanted to learn more about my grandma, more about my grandpa, and how they came here and why they came here.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about them.
So there was an ongoing war in Cambodia at the time because they had to work in fields and like rice fields because they ran away to like a refugee camp on the border of Thailand.
Oh, wow.
And then they lived there for like, I'm actually not that sure.
Yeah.
And then they had a babe. My uncle was born in the refugee camp. And then they got a sponsorship that took them to Canada.
Wow.
And then they lived in Canada for 3 or 4 years. Then they got their citizenship.
Yes, these are dinosaur bones. These are Cretaceous. Brachylophosaurus. Everyone say Brachylophosaurus. Brachylophosaurus. Again. Again. You have to say it 3 times. It commits it to memory. Okay. They're about 70 million years old. 70 million years old. This right here One more time. Poop. Louder. Poop. Does it smell like poop? Well, it is poop. It is. It is dinosaur poop. Do you guys want to touch the dinosaur poop? You can touch that.
I told you we can
There you go. Yeah, there you go. This is from World War II. This is a bomber jacket from a World War II bomber from Jack Milburn. This also is from World War II right here. This was part of a uniform from the Women's Auxiliary Air Force during World War II. So they did all sorts of things like working on planes, working on tanks, driving tanks, sometimes flying planes.